Hello and welcome to the match reaction video here on Latte Firm. A slightly different setting for me tonight. I am in the United Arab Emirates, out in Abu Dhabi with my family, enjoying a family holiday. So sorry that I've not been able to do any sort of daily content, any match preview shows. Tried desperately to do a match reaction video, but the IP cycling is what it's known as, is just not letting me do any live streams whatsoever, as I've just found out on the post-match phone-in on Twitter. But here we are, just approaching, just gone past midnight here, going to Warner Brothers World tomorrow with the little ones. So looking forward to that. But I'm just hoping this is going to work. So welcome. It was Eberechi Eze's super volley that got us the 3 points against Crystal Palace. It had to be him to take us top of the league. 4 points clear so early on, 9 games played on the board, and it's looking good. 7 wins in all competitions for Arsenal. This is very promising. It feels like at any time now I'm just going to wake up from this dream that feels like this start to this Premier League season. So welcome. It feels weird not having any of you guys in the chat, so bear with me as I sort of mumble my way through a few words on today's game. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know your thoughts on the match, individual performances, what you think of the Premier League title race so far. But a really good day and a really good weekend. Another hate watch session that's been a success for us. Liverpool dropping points yesterday, Manchester City dropping points today, and Aston Villa thanks to Unai Emery. Wow, it just feels like something's going to happen. So I don't want to tempt fate, don't want to get too carried away, but it is absolutely fantastic. Let's start with the starting lineups as we normally do. This courtesy of PremierLeague.com. Hopefully you guys can see it on screen coming through. A couple of changes from our game that we played against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. Really good to see Ricky Calafiori come back into the team, Leo Trossard as well. Thought that was a little bit harsh on Gabby Martinelli after his super goal against Diego Simeone's men. But this is what Mikel Arteta is doing. He's keeping the squad fresh. He is rotating. He is looking at opposition and making those selections carefully. So David Raya in goal, Jurriën Timber, who was outstanding today, thought he's really elevated his game in that final third, looking very accomplished, looking better on the ball, more confident on the ball, trying to do things in that final third. Saliba, of course, going off at half-time, hopefully precautionary. Christian Mosquera coming in and doing a great job. A little bit nervous about the load on William Saliba. Hopefully nothing too serious, and hopefully he's back in time for Burnley next weekend. Gabriel Magalhães, what more is there left to say? Warrior, leader, colossal, unbelievable defender. Really proud to have him. Jamie Carragher described him as potentially the best centre-back in the world, and it's difficult to disagree. Another great performance. What I love most, every time he blocks a ball or takes a sliding tackle to block a shot, fists clenched, celebrates it like a goal. It means so much to him, and you can see that on the pitch, and it's just great to have the Warrior back at the heart of our defence. Ricky Calafiori coming in, arguably one of our best players of the season, didn't put a foot wrong today. Really accustomed performance. Good to see him. Also saved a few minutes towards the end of the end of the game. But another top-notch performance from him. Eberechi Eze, if we've seen Declan Rice play West Ham over the last couple of years, there was a little bit of nervousness from me personally going into the game, wondering how the heartstrings might pull facing his former club. And we started quite slowly, actually, to be fair. He took a little bit of time to get going in the team, but of course came up with the winner in that second half, in that first half, late in the first half, and it was fantastic for us. Really good performance from Eze, and a great goal. And he finds himself in those pockets of space, which we'll come on to just shortly. Zubimendi and Declan Rice, who of course had to go off as well with 10 minutes to go. Mikel Merino coming on. That hopefully another precautionary thing. You guys will know I've been very worried about Declan Rice's load. He's playing for club and country. He just needs a break, otherwise he is going to break. So hopefully that's nothing too serious. Leo Trossard, Victor Gyökeres, and Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka, Mikel Arteta has confirmed that he was sick before the game. Managed to get an hour out of him. Hopefully just recovers now. Wrapping up in cotton wool. Play him at Burnley next weekend. Get him away from the Carabao Cup team, in my opinion. Lots of also talk about Victor Gyökeres, another performance without a goal. But listen, he works so hard. He does everything right for the team. I'm not worried about him. I think the return is going to come. I think Kai Havertz is going to come in and hopefully let him come in on different game state situations and have a different partner up top. I'm not nervous about Victor Gyökeres. I think he's doing some fantastic things for our team. Palace, on the other hand, look, I came into the game thinking it was going to be difficult. Crystal Palace have been one of the most informed teams of the calendar year. FA Cup winners, Community Shield winners. Glasner has been doing a fantastic job. I know they've lost Eza, but they've beaten Liverpool recently. They're going to take points off many other teams, and they look good. You know, the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, I thought we really struggled. It could have been a combination of, I guess, post-Champions League lethargy, but Palace had the game on Thursday, so if anything, we were fresher. We know that they're a real handful defensively, very, very good in the middle of the park in Kamada and Wharton, two very, very fine players. Sars had a really good start to the season. Yerry Pino, who, of course, we were linked with when Unai Emery was in charge, and Jean-Philippe Mateta, who is a real handful, technically a very, very good footballer, physically robust, you know, really awkward to play against. And I think Gabriel Magalhães really relished that challenge today. Mosquera came on, shout out to him as well in that second half to keep him at bay. And listen, it's a 1-0 performance, a 1-0 victory. I'm not going to complain too much about the manner of the performance. We're game week 9 in the Premier League. We just want to rack points up on the board and try and pull away from any of our sort of chasing pack as much as possible before the competitions get going, before injuries come, before the January window. Let's just focus on winning. 3 points is the most important thing. Performance is secondary, points is primary. So look, that was a starting lineup. No real complaints from me. The bench looking stacked, bringing players on in that second half as well to give some of our key men a rest. But like I said, Saliba going off at a half time, a little bit nervous about that. Declan Rice going off just 10 minutes to go. He never does, he very rarely doesn't finish games, and I've been nervous about his load. And Gabby Martinelli holding his groin at the end of the game and going straight through the tunnel without staying out on the pitch to applause the home fans. That's a bit of a worry for me as well. So hopefully they all come out not too serious. So 1-0 to the Arsenal in the end. Those are the match stats courtesy of Scott Willis. You can see these on Cannon Stats on Twitter at the end of each game, as you can see on screen. 1-0 winners, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Beautiful. Love to see that. George Graham, of course, in the crowd, as was John Bon Jovi. We're a quarter way there. Not halfway, given that we're 9 games in, but you get what I mean. 0.9 expected goals. We didn't create too much today. We had 10 shots on goal, but only 3 of those were on target. We finally conceded a shot on target, although if you look at the slow motion replay, it wasn't really a shot, was it? It was just a head of Eddie Nketiah. The ball was already in David Raya's arms, but that's just the way that it is. We only had 2 shots from open play. Those knives are out already. Another set-piece goal. I'm not going to get bored of that, to be honest. I actually quite like that we are scoring goals from set pieces, and I do think it's sustainable. I think it's very, very effective to score goals like that when you've got someone who can deliver the ball like that, like Declan Rice does. Possession-wise, on top. Passes-wise, also comfortably on top. Final third entries. Palace gave us a good game. It was a tight game, and it was probably the fair result, but it could quite easily have been a draw. So look, let's not dwell on the numbers too much. 1-0 to the Arsenal, take the 3 points and run. I do want to single out Gabriel Magalhães, Jamie Carragher, who's actually just on extra time behind me. I think he's probably going to start crying about Liverpool. In fact, he's doing that right now. He is talking about Brentford, Liverpool. He described Gabriel Magalhães as the possibly best centre-back in world football at the moment. And it's difficult to disagree. You know, those of you that have been watching this channel for a long time will know that I've been eulogizing about Gabriel for so long. His leadership, his passion, his energy, his drive, his want to win, his desire to play for Arsenal, his desire to play football, his love for keeping clean sheets and winning tackles and winning duels and grappling with strikers. I think he looks at opposition strikers like Erling Haaland and Jean-Philippe Mateta and licks his lips at the very prospect of coming up against these players. And I just wanted to shout him out because I thought today was another tremendous performance from the boy. Just really great to see him with the captain's armband as well towards the end. Bukayo Saka, of course, captaining the team, but him, you know, going off the pitch with the armband. And there was a real resilience and a resoluteness and a drive from the entire team. You know, you saw Piero Nketiah come on for a few minutes, making his Premier League debut at home. Even the way he was sort of, you know, high-fiving and fist bumping and celebrating every clearance, every tackle that was being made at the closing stages of the game. They know what it takes to kind of, you know, grind out games. There's a real mentality, I think, about this team, about wanting to grind out results and not let anyone in. And 3 goals conceded now in 9 games in the Premier League is a frightening result. That's 3 goals in all competitions, isn't it? This season, 12, 13 games. Phenomenal. And this guy deserves all the flowers. Let's talk about Eberechi. I mean, it had to be, of course, the man coming in from Crystal Palace over the summer, the boy who wanted to finish that story, being released by the Academy of Arsenal, coming into play for Arsenal against his former club today. And a lot of people would have had a flutter on him to score the winner, and he did. It was written in the stars, that graphic there, courtesy of PremierLeague.com. Another set piece goal, like I've said, 11 for Arsenal this season. That is higher than anybody else in the division. You can hardly call it a set piece. I mean, the set piece came in, it was cleared away, it kind of bounced about a little bit, and then Eberechi Eze finding himself in that spot, and he's done that a few times. I've noticed it against West Ham, a couple of times against Newcastle, once against Atletico Madrid. Just finds himself just in between the D and the penalty area, and anything sort of loose, his anticipation is quick. He's first to the ball, and I guess he's quite assertive. He hits the ball with conviction, and he twatted that ball into the net today to give us the lead. Really pleased to see that he did do his trademark celebration. Didn't go too wild, didn't want to sort of wheel away in front of the Palace fans, which is all very respectful, Arsenal FC and all that sort of stuff. But great to see him get his first Premier League goal. Very, very wholesome. And very unusual for me to not be at the Emirates. I've not missed a home game in a long time. I had to watch from afar, and it's a very different experience watching it at a very different time, unusual time, watching it on the screen. But it was a really lovely moment for him, and I managed to sort of enjoy that with my boy who was sat next to me. We were watching the game together, and a real wholesome moment. Pleased for Eberechi Eze. Obviously, look, he's going to be disappointed that it's had to come against his old team, but he's a model pro, and I think this is going to hopefully give him that spring to go a little bit further. So what does that mean in terms of the title race? Very, very short match reaction tonight. 4 defeats in a row, but not for us, I would say. We are looking good. We are top of the table, as you can see on the right-hand side. Played 9, goal difference of 13, 22 out of 27 points. Bournemouth, phenomenal this season. They are in second place. And the old enemy who went away to Everton and gave them their first home defeat at their new stadium, the Hill Dickinson, winning 3-0, are now in third place. So we're 4 points clear, but not of Liverpool, not of City. And look down to the bottom of that top 6, Manchester United. Could they be back? Does our win on opening day at Old Trafford look even better, knowing that Manchester United are getting stronger and stronger? It's a very unusual top 6. Sunderland, of course, we play them straight after Burnley. Granit Xhaka powering them to a win away at Stamford Bridge yesterday. I mean, the jeopardy's here. The jeopardy's back. There's a lot of people talking about how boring Arsenal are and how predictable they are from their set pieces, and how City have fallen away and Liverpool are the worst champions ever. But the reality is the jeopardy of the Barclays is very much there, and we are sat top of the league. And when you consider the fixtures that we had in our first 6, I think that is a very, very good return from our first 9 games. In fact, if you think about the last 4 games, Newcastle, West Ham, Fulham, and today against Crystal Palace, that returned us 2 points last season. 2 points from 12. This season, 12 out of 12. That is credit to the manager, credit to Andrea Berta, credit to the players for going out there and wanting to right a few wrongs. And here we are. We're going into November. We're sat at the top of the Premier League. We're a quarter way through the season now. And I don't want to get carried away, so I'm not going to get carried away. But I think, whilst on the one hand, I'm feeling this is a dream and this is all going to sort of burst at some point. On the other hand, I'm thinking this has been a very deliberate and calculated start to the season by Arteta and Berta and the club. We worked hard over the summer. We've bedded our new players in. We're not quite firing on all fronts, but we're picking up points where it's really important. Arteta is rotating the squad and keeping players fresh. It'd be really interesting to see what he does this week against Brighton in the League Cup, Carling Cup, showing my age. I want to see a bit of rotation. There'll be a few players maybe getting a few minutes, important minutes ahead of the game against Burnley at Saturday. So look, it's an important fixture. And now we have the squad. I want Arsenal to go strong in this cup. I want us to go as far as we can and hopefully pick up a bit of silverware in early February next season. In terms of our rivals, look, Manchester City are there. Erling Haaland didn't score today, but of course Aston Villa got the win. He's not going to score in every game. He won't score in every game, and he's not going to play every game. So they really need to find a plan B to Erling Haaland when it doesn't work. And Liverpool in all sorts of trouble. Arne Slot coming out. It was interesting on the post-match phone-in. Someone called in and said, when things are going really well, it's easy for managers to just be the nice guy and be the charmer and say the nice things and say the right things, as he did last season. And it's at moments of adversity when your back's up against the wall and you've lost 1 or 2 and the media are sharpening their knives and rival fans are piling on as well. That's when you really show the true character. I'm so proud to have Mikel Arteta at the top of our club because he's never used injuries as an excuse or referees as an excuse. He speaks passionately, he speaks openly, he speaks with energy, but he's always taken all the responsibility for everything that's happened at the club. And Arnie Slot's talking about, how we don't go down easy, and be trying to convince referees of that, and how all these teams have low blocks and they don't make changes to their lineup for anybody else apart from them. Nonsense. 4 defeats in the Premier League on the bounce. That is unheard of. We've never done that under Mikel Arteta since 2019, since he joined the club, and hopefully we'll never have to experience that. So look, I'm not going to say Liverpool have gone away. They are down. They will come back. I am sure of it. Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, in fact, in his post-match interview today, saying that they just need to keep in touch with Arsenal. I think he's already established Arsenal as the runaway leaders of this league. So we just need to keep doing what we're doing. Focus on ourselves, focus on every game as it comes, beat what's in front of you, and see where we are come sort of December, January time. Once the window opens and closes, you then go on to the second half of the season, and let's see what happens. But for now, I am very, very pleased. Let me know what you guys think of the Arsenal performance today, what you guys think of the title race, where the sort of hate watchers are going to leave us. We are top, we're 4 points clear. And we've got a decent runway now in the run up to Christmas time. My apologies once again for not being able to do any sort of daily shows, any sort of match reaction videos that have been live. I really missed your company tonight. Any match preview shows. I will be back in the UK on Thursday. After which we will do a late night lounge on Friday, of course. We'll have a look ahead to the game away at Burnley. I will do a match reaction video, and it's all still to come. I love you guys very much. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good week. Enjoy going into work or school or whatever it is that you choose to do tomorrow with that extra bounce in your step, because the Arsenal are top of the league and we're 4 points clear. Bye for now.